Jim Morrison here at the Spectrum Center, and we are joined by Notre Dame star Laphonso Ellis. He'll be doing the nightcap tomorrow between Boston College and Pitt for ESPN. And Laphonso, great to see you.
Thank you.
What is your thoughts on the ACC season as a whole as you get ready for this tournament here in 2019?
Well, it's been great. I mean, you look at the depth of the ACC, and obviously Virginia's been terrific this year. Duke's been outstanding. Teams like Florida State, and so the top of this league has just been terrific, and I think the middle of the league doesn't get enough credit for how strong it is.
Your former team, Notre Dame, practicing right behind us right now. Not a typical Notre Dame season for head coach Mike Bray, but this is the type of a week where they can catch fire, and hey, you never know, 5 wins in a row, you get you into the tournament. Is that what you have to hold on to when you're a team playing on the first day of this tournament?
Absolutely. He has a young team. He unfortunately has had a ton of injuries this year, and so he's had to be able to adapt Mike Bray on the fly. It's going to be challenging because, of course, they're playing without a litany of guys. You have guys with hamstring injuries, 2 shoulders out, and so if I'm not mistaken, I think they're only playing with like 7 guys, and so that's going to be a big challenge just because you don't have the depth to be able to make it through 4 to 5 games in this ACC tournament.
You mentioned injuries. One of the big stars of the ACC this year, freshman Zion Williamson of Duke, went down 5 games ago with the knee injury against North Carolina, has not played since. They're expecting him back in the tournament this week. What are your thoughts on star freshmen like that? Should they play? Should they continue? A lot of NBA guys saying don't play the rest of the way, get ready for the draft. You've been to the NBA. You've seen both sides of the coin. What are your thoughts?
My thought is it's really up to Zion. My understanding, I had their game last week against Wake Forest at home, that nail-biter on a missed shot at the end that could have gotten the win for Wake Forest. But everything that I've heard is that the kid wants to play. He's a competitor. He's developed a brotherhood with all of his teammates, and you only get this opportunity once to be able to come through college and compete not only for an ACC title but for a national title. And so I expect Zion to be back. I expect him to be healthy, and I expect him to be impactful because he's had a phenomenal year as well.
You know, when you go to Notre Dame, it's a different experience than a lot of other colleges because academics are stressed when you go there. You were there, of course. But what are your thoughts on the one and done? I mean, they're talking about changing it, letting kids go right out of high school to the G League. Do you like the way the system's set up, or if you had the opportunity to fix it, what would you do?
Well, I don't think you should take away the if a kid wants to go right out of college to the NBA, especially with all of the information that they have available to them now that we didn't have when I played from 1992 to 2003, then the kid should be able to go. However, if that kid decides to come to college, then I like baseball rule, I like the football rule, stay for 2 years or 3 years and then go, because once they're there, I'd like to see them in position to get close to get a degree.
You look at this tournament, you look at Duke, you look at North Carolina, Virginia was the champion yet again. These are teams that can compete for a national championship. This is a conference that is just so deep and so loaded. Who do you think emerges this week as the tournament champion?
Well, I said earlier in the year, back in November, actually, I felt that the league title and the league tournament title was going to go through Charlottesville. And, of course, Virginia losing those 2 games against Duke kind of threw a little question mark for everyone, but I've consistently said so. That's a team that doesn't turn the basketball over. They don't allow you to get on the offensive glass. They have one of the most efficient defenses in the nation, and I don't think that Virginia gets enough credit for the improvement of guys like Mamadi Diakite and his ability to block shots, to be able to score, be able to knock down an occasional three-point shot. Jay Huff, 7 feet tall, can knock down a 3-ball, and I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be first team all ACC going forward. And not to mention Kyle Guy, DeAndre Hunter. I mean, they're so balanced in their offensive attack. I expect Virginia to win another. They've already won the regular season title, but I anticipate that they'll win the conference tournament title as well. So
that would get them a 1 seed. Roy Williams, the Tar Heels, I picked them a month ago as my dark horse to win the national championship, just the way they've started to emerge. You see them as a 1 seed as well?
I see all three. I see North Carolina, Virginia, and potentially Duke all on that one line. And Duke, of course, I think Virginia's secure. I think North Carolina's secure. I think it's going to have to play out to see if Duke will also have a one spot as a number one seed as well.
Last one, Laphonso Ellis. Dark horse, Florida State. We call them the pride of Gastonia, Leonard Hamilton. They've had a great year. Is there a team besides the big three that you think could emerge here as the champion this week?
A team like a Florida State. I think that Kevin Gelly's development over this year has been terrific. I was concerned about that team. We know that they can play in transition. We know that they can score off of turnovers. But when the game slows down, do they have a guy that they can give it to that can get them some buckets in the half court? And Fiondu Kabengele has become that guy and has done it consistently as well.
All right, last one. I'm a Syracuse guy. You've seen them a bunch of times.
Last one before.
I just got to get your thoughts. What do you think of the Orange chances, tournament-wise this year?
Yeah, well, again, that vaunted 2-3 zone, it's very difficult to prepare for. Obviously, teams in the ACC have had an opportunity to see it, but I said early on, back in November as well, I felt the Syracuse would have a little bit better balance on the offensive end with Buddy Boeheim because it gives them a guy who can knock down shots in the half court in transition. And so if Buddy can continue to knock it down at the clip that he's knocked it down in the last month, then put Syracuse in position as well. But I still think that Virginia's going to win it.
Laphonso, always great to talk to a Notre Dame guy because it makes us a whole lot smarter. Have a great call tomorrow night, Boston College and Pitt, and we'll talk to you throughout the tournament.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That was Laphonso Ellis, former Notre Dame star and NBA star, joining us here on the Carolina Sports Link as we get set for the 2019 ACC tournament.